Dre all day.
Dre Baldwin, Ball Overseas, balloverseas.com, the Overseas Basketball Blueprint. Now we're talking about overseas basketball tryout opportunities. Now, I talked about tryouts a few times on this podcast or in these videos, wherever you happen to be consuming this. I want to give you 3 specific points that I want you to understand about tryouts for overseas basketball teams. These players ask me this question all the time. Usually the questions I get when it comes to overseas are either how do I get started, how do I find an agent, or how do I get a tryout? Those are usually the 3 questions that players ask. So I'm making sure I've covered this from so many different angles with multiple pieces of content so that anytime somebody has a question, I'm sure I have addressed it more than once from a different angle and said it in a different way so nobody can ever say that they don't have the information. So when it comes to tryouts, the first thing I want you to understand is that if you do not have any other opportunity, or a better opportunity, the only opportunity better than a tryout specifically from a team that says we want you to come try out for us is a team saying we want to sign you. All right, that's the only opportunity that's better. So when it comes to playing ball overseas, the stages you could be at is completely unsigned and nobody's talking to you, nobody knows you. That's like stage 0. Let's call that stage 1. You want to play. All right, stage 0 is you don't even want to play. Stage 1 is you want to play. Stage 2 would be if you have an opportunity, meaning somebody's willing to deal with you, meaning you're going to an exposure camp to show your game, or you have an agent who has signed you. Stage 3 is if a team says we want to take a look at you up close, meaning come to where we are and work out with us for a couple weeks or a couple days or however long, and we'll decide if we want you or not. That's stage 3 is the tryout. And stage 4 is the team says we want to actually sign you to a contract and you play for our team. Those are the stages that you could be at. Stage 1 is you want to play but nothing's happened. In stage 2, you sign with the agent or you're at an exposure camp. Stage 3, tryout. Stage 4, you're signed to a team. The only opportunity better than being on a tryout is a team signing you. So if you have a team willing to sign you, sign the contract. Okay. Unless you got more than one option, more than one contract in front of you, and you got to decide which one you want to sign, all right, then figure that out. But if you got one, all right, take that option before they sign somebody else. Teams offering you a tryout that I'm assuming you don't have a team willing to sign you yet, take the tryout. Take the opportunity. All right, slow motion is better than no motion. Okay, so if a team offers you a tryout deal, they said we're not guaranteeing you nothing. We are not guaranteeing you a contract. It is no promise that you're going to stay here. You might only be here for a week and then we're going to get rid of you. That may be what happens. If that's what the team is offering you, but you ain't got nothing else going on, take the tryout opportunity. One reason is, first of all, you get to actually go to the country that you're at. And I've said this before. Everything that I say, I've said before. I'm going to say it again. A team being able to see you up front and up close in person every single day is a huge difference from a team only watching you on video or talking to you on the phone or having your agent talk about you. All right, being able to see you in person is the best way to prove anything that you want to prove. I mean, generally in life, wouldn't you agree? Isn't it much easier if you're trying to talk to a girl? It's much easier for you to show that girl who you are and what you're about if you can sit down and have a one-on-one with her in person rather than sending DMs back and forth on a social media platform. All right, they're gonna find out a lot more about you in an in-person conversation than they will find out about through a text message conversation. So those of you who are, maybe you got something to hide, maybe you're not that good or you're not that great of a person, you might want to keep it in the texting and the emailing. But the people who have game, you want to go to where you actually show your game, because you know once they see you in person, it's going to be a done deal. And have you ever heard of Spanx, the undergarment mostly for women? I heard they make Spanx for men. I don't know. But the undergarment for women, that women wear to tighten everything up when they wear form-fitting clothing like a skirt or some tights or something like that, so they don't have stuff hanging out of certain places that they don't want to be hanging out of. Sarah Blakely is the woman who started that company, Spanx. And when she was trying to get her product carried in a department store, I think it might have been Macy's, she was sitting down with the people at Macy's who make the decision whether or not to sell her product in their stores. And if you think about it, imagine if you sold a product and you get it sold in Macy's. That's so many stores, and they have a huge footprint. That's a big business. But she was sitting down with the woman and she was trying to explain to her how Spanx works. And the woman wasn't quite understanding it from Sarah's reading of her. And she said to the woman, look, come with me to the dressing room. She took the woman to the dressing room and she demonstrated to her how the Spanx worked. And that's when the woman said, oh, now I get it. And Macy's ended up carrying her product, and now everybody knows what Spanx is. And for you, is the exact same thing. Getting a tryout is your chance to go into the dressing room and show that team what you can actually do. All right, you ain't got to take no clothes off, but you get what I'm saying. So if you get an opportunity for a tryout, take the opportunity. Do not think that, oh, I played D1 or I was a 4-year starter at a D2 or whatever your situation is, and you start to fool yourself into believing you are too good or you are too big for an opportunity to just take a tryout with a team because you feel like a team should just be willing to sign you straight out. Listen, everybody feels that way. Everybody wants to just get signed straight out. Everybody wants to get a max contract from the damn Chicago Bulls, but that might not be the opportunity that's facing you right now. And understand you are on the clock. All right, there's a window to playing professional basketball. You don't want another season to go by with you not having a deal. So if a team offers you a tryout, that's your opportunity to demonstrate to them that you are worthy of a contract. Why not take that opportunity? Take it. Second thing you need to understand, you might not be the only person at that tryout. Now, of course, there's a basketball team there, meaning all the other players on the roster will be there. But what I mean is there may be other players who get brought in on that same tryout opportunity that you got brought in on, and the team didn't tell you about it. All right, they ain't got to tell you because it's their business. They don't have to tell you what they're doing. They tell you you can come in for a tryout. That doesn't mean you're going to be the only one trying out. It doesn't mean it's just going to be you against, can this player help us or not? It's going to be you, and it might be 3 other players at your exact same position, all Americans, all in, Italy or in Greece or in Spain, all trying out for the same team for one job, same position. It might be 4 point guards, it might be 4 big guys, it might be 4 wings, whatever position you are. So understand what I talked about a couple videos ago is that you're going to be in competition, and this is a zero-sum game, meaning everybody cannot win, everybody cannot eat, everybody can't make the roster, everybody ain't getting the deal, everybody ain't making it. And this is the mentality you need to have before you get there. All right, you don't want to show up there and then realize, oh damn, I'm not the only one at this tryout. This is going to be real cutthroat competition. I'm going to have to beat these guys out. You need to have that mentality when you're at home training, mentally and physically. So when you get in that situation, if that happens to be the case, you're already ready for it. You're already mentally prepared for it. I know physically you're going to be prepared. You need to be mentally prepared for that because you don't want to show up there and be surprised like, damn, I got to compete against these guys, these other Americans for my job. That's the way that teams do it sometimes. That's not the way they always do it. That's the way they do it sometimes. So make sure you are mentally prepared for the fact that you might not be the only one at that tryout. And the third thing, when it comes to getting a tryout with a professional basketball team, is that tryout can last as long or as short as that team wants it to last. If the team's giving you a tryout offer, or it's a tryout, meaning even if they pay you for the tryout, and if you have an agent, you may end up getting paid for your tryout. But even if a tryout contract is 1 month, if a team decides after 4 days that they don't really like you, they'll pay you whatever they owe you, or maybe whatever they think they owe you, whatever they want to give you, and they will let you go. Because if they decide in 4 days they don't like you anymore, they don't need to have you there for the rest of the month just to confirm that. They already decided they don't like you. Maybe it's something about your attitude they don't like. Maybe you showed up out of shape. Maybe you're not tall enough. Maybe you can't shoot. Whatever the situation is, they decided they don't want to deal with you. That tryout can last. Again, that tryout could be 1 day if you're not good enough. I've seen players get tryouts, be there 1 day, and it's done because the team already decided the first day, all right, this player just does not have the skill that we need, and they're not going to develop it in the next 30 days, so we're going to let them go. Your tryout might go the whole time. A team might extend your tryout. You might have a tryout for a month, and if you're doing your thing, the team might say, look, we'll give you another month at whatever rate and just rent you out for that month or whatever the situation is, because maybe they just brought you in because somebody got injured. You might be an injury replacement player. Or the team might just be deciding, do we even want to have an import player this year? We'll have you for a month. We'll see how it goes. And if you're worth it, then we may keep you for the rest of the season. Or we may just say, you know what? We're not going to have any imports. We're going to let you go after your month. We'll pay you for your month. Thank you for your time and your service. And we'll move on. But the whole point is your tryout can be as short or as long as the team decides that it's going to be. Remember that when you're playing professional basketball, you are in a buyer's market, meaning the buyer, the people with the money, meaning the team. They're the ones who decide how it's going to go. They're the ones who get to pick and choose. You are the seller. And in a buyer's market, the seller, you got to make your adjustments as necessary just to get your opportunity. Sometimes that might mean less money. It might mean less chance. It might mean less time. It might mean a setup that you don't quite like. But when the market is in their favor, you got to learn how to play the game. So all that being said, when it comes to pro basketball tryouts, 3 things that you need to understand. Number 1, if you have an opportunity for a tryout, unless you got a team offering you a deal, take the tryout. All right, you ain't got nothing else better going on. Number 2, there may be other players in that tryout involved in that tryout that you didn't know about, and the team does not have to tell you that. You should be mentally prepared for that before you get there. I'm telling you so that you don't have to worry about the team telling you. And number 3, that trial could be as long or as short as the team wants it to be. They can keep you longer if they want. They'll pay you for it. They can keep you shorter if they want. If they decide that they don't want you anymore for whatever reason. It might not be anything that you did wrong. Maybe because the player that they had you coming in to replace is ready to play again now, or whatever the situation be. Maybe they decide they want a big man instead of a guard, and you're a guard. Maybe they decide they want a guard instead of a big man, you're a big man. Whatever the situation happens to be, this is just the game that you're in. All right, I'd say that over and over again. This is the game that you're signing up for. Understand the game, respect the game, and be ready to play the game. If you have not yet gotten your free copy of this book, The Overseas Basketball Blueprint, 237 pages, everything you need to know to play professional basketball overseas starting right now. Go to balloverseas.com. The link is down in the description of this episode or video, wherever you happen to be watching this. Balloverseas.com. The book is paid for. All you do is pay for the shipping. Worldwide, we're sending this to you. Overseas Basketball Blueprint, balloverseas.com. Work on your game. Dre all day.